The Denver Broncos schedule has officially released, and we're going to go through it game by game and talk about if the Broncos got screwed on some games, some of the matchups that we like, some positives, some negatives, everything. We got it all locked in here, man. So hit the subscribe button. If you guys love Denver sports, Denver Broncos, Denver Nuggets, Colorado Avalanche, you're in the right place, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And without further ado, let's get right into the 2025 Denver Broncos schedule. We are opening up the season against Cam Ward in his first game on the road against the Broncos. So the Broncos are at home against the Titans. I don't know what time all these are going to go down at, to be honest with you, but I'm assuming that this one is going to be a 2:05 or 2:25 kickoff here at home. I like it, man. I didn't want to have, the Bengals, or we knew it wasn't going to be the Eagles or like the Chiefs, a tougher team, tougher opponent week one. I like it. I think it's a very winnable game, a game that we absolutely 100% actually should win against a rookie quarterback and a lot of unknowns there in Tennessee as they start a new era. So I love that. And then we go back-to-back road games. Okay, we go at Indianapolis and at the Los Angeles Chargers, which a lot of the times is kind of like a home game for us. These are going to be a lot more difficult than I think people imagine, right? Which quarterback is going to be starting for the Colts in week 2? Is it going to be Daniel Jones? Is it going to be Anthony Richardson? What is that team going to be? And let's not forget, guys, with Anthony Richardson, even this is a team that if Jonathan Taylor doesn't fumble right before he gets into the end zone, we probably lose that game, and the Broncos are probably not in the postseason. So Colts are a very tough opponent. They always play us well, regardless of how bad or good they are. You're going to get it. And playing at Indianapolis, it's going to be a tough one. Then we're flipping it to a humongous division game to start the season a little bit early on, week 3 against the Chargers. Now, I'll tell you what, we are 2-0 and the Chargers are 2-0. That's going to be a really big time game, especially as the season progresses, right? So, they swept us last year. This is our opportunity to get revenge and to prove that all the additions that we made, in the offseason and in the draft to really bolster up that defense as much as we could, showing that we're going to be able to match their toughness and take it to the next level and get the win there. And then week 4 at home against the Bengals on Monday Night Football. They wanted us on primetime. And guys, let's face it, man, they know the Broncos now are primetime material, as you can see on the schedule, which is awesome. And it's a big change from previous years. We are beginning to become must-watch TV. The Bengals and Broncos game last year was an instant classic, a game that gave me a heart attack. It's going to be nice that this one's going to be at home under the bright lights on Monday Night Football. I love it, man. I love it, especially with the way the first 3 games kind of start. I think there's a good chance that we might be 3-0 heading into that game. We'll see. But it's going to be a good back-to-back games of testing to see where we are against the better teams in the AFC, specifically the Bengals, right? And again, the offseason additions, right? Jahdae Barron, putting up with the defense. Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga. We wanted to bolster that defense to make them better so that if, Riley Moss got hurt or if he was coming off of an injury, we could match up against teams like the Bengals who are stacking it up and they are locked and loaded on the offensive side of the football. So that's going to be a really good true test as to where is this Broncos defense going to rank, right? I think that we're easily going to be top 5. I think we can certainly be the top defense in the NFL, but on paper it doesn't win you games. So it's going to be a nice test for the team to see. And then they kind of give us a little bit of a gauntlet here, right? So actually we kind of started the gauntlet going on the road against the Chargers. Then we got the Bengals at home under the bright lights. Then we got a short week turnaround to fly to the East Coast to play the Eagles, which is probably going to be a, Sunday game, most likely in the morning, but they could make it one of those half primetime games where they put it like a 4 Eastern kickoff. But nonetheless, it's in Philadelphia against the defending champions. That is going to be a brutally tough game. And then right after that, we fly to London. So here's where it gets really interesting. I can perceive that the Broncos will fly to Philly, play that game, stay in Philly, and fly straight to London from Philadelphia. You might as well. You're saving yourself about, 3 hours in flight time and, spend the week in London and play the Jets, which is, it's nice that goes that counts as a road game for us, us being the away team in London. And yeah, we're going to have to see, we're going to see how that goes. Jets are certainly going to be a beatable opponent, a team that we should certainly win and beat in London. But that's going to be a fun week. I love those 7:30 a.m. kickoffs. And and then we come straight back, right? No bye week after that. So lots of traveling for this team. It's gonna be one of those where, it proved to be a really good thing for us last year. You get a lot of the camaraderie, you get these young guys around each other a lot and away from the distractions. And, they responded really well last year when they did the West Virginia trip on the Tampa Bay and New York Jets kind of East Coast back-to-back trips. Hopefully we can, we can match that same intensity and get a much needed and very winnable game against the New York Jets. Then we fly back home. Like I said, no bye week. Fly back home against the Giants, an opponent that we should absolutely beat at home. No doubt about that. And then we got back-to-backs, right? We're staying in the NFC East. The Cowboys come to visit town week 8. So between the Jets, the Giants, the Cowboys, I feel like on paper we should certainly win at least 2 of those 3 games, but certainly all 3 of them. So a little bit tough coming, from an overseas cross the world type of a trip, but it's going to be interesting to see how we respond to not just being away from home for a long time, but then coming back, playing against very winnable opponents at home and the Giants and the Cowboys. And obviously, as the season goes, these are games that are subject to change like a whole lot, right? Like right now we can deem some of them as like lock it and win, but you never know what happens with injuries. Same things, injuries for our team, but then same with the opponent, right? I mean, Philadelphia, they could be banged up for all we know week 5. So it's a very fluid, but taking it on the surface now, I feel like the Giants and the Cowboys, especially those being at home, those should be games that we win. Then we travel to Houston to play the Houston Texans, which I think are going to be a very much improved team. That's going to be tough. I don't even remember the last time the Broncos have won in Houston. It might have been the Drew Lock game when he played one of his first starts. I don't know if it was his first one. I can't really remember, but that might be the last time. Otherwise, Texans, man, they're going to be a tough opponent. On the road, it's always a hostile environment. It's going to be tough, but, you're playing in a dome, which is always a positive. So, we're going to see where that goes. Then we got a short week, a really short turnaround to play the Raiders again at home. This is where I really feel like the schedule makers have hooked us up this year after kind of screwing us a little bit last year with kind of where we're playing the games. I like the fact, we had 2 Thursday night games last year, both of them on the road. Obviously, one of them we elected to do, so no big deal. But, short against a divisional opponent, it's always going to be tough against the Raiders, even when you're at home. But then you get a little bit of a mini bye after that in preparation to face the Chiefs at home until you got the actual bye week. So I like that. I like that stretch, right? I mean, they basically gave us East Coast road game. Then you got to fly international. Then you come back, but you got back-to-back games, at home. It kind of settles it down. We go to Houston in week 9. Then we got a short week, but at home against the Raiders, mini bye, playing the Chiefs at home. Those are going to be 2 massive, massive games. Absolutely massive games. I already know that the way the week 10 and the week 11, those ones are going to be very, very important games at that particular time of the season. And then after we just had a mini bye, a couple weeks prior, we actually have our bye week on week 12. I love a week 12 bye. I thought the week 14 bye was a little bit too late last year, but the week 12 bye is good. It's really, really solid. It helps us, freshen up and prepare for the final 6 games of the season. But, a lot of the times, like the same thing with the rest of the schedule, you never know when the bye week's going to come at the right time. Last year, the Chargers, I remember, they had a week 4 bye, which is very early. But ironically, it actually came at a really good time for them. The week 14 bye last year worked out. So week 12 bye, I like it. It splits the season perfectly for us at a good time. I really dig it. And especially because after the bye week, we got back-to-backs against the Commanders and the Raiders. Commanders being on Sunday Night Football. That's going to be a fun one, man. Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix. You already know they're gonna love the headlines of that game. And, that's going to be a formidable opponent. The Commanders are really a team on the up and coming flying all the way to the East Coast is going to be tough. That's going to be a really tough one. But luckily, we have that game coming off of the bye, and then we fly to Las Vegas, play the Raiders. I feel like with divisional opponents, man, like whether you're at home or on the road, at least with the Chargers and the Raiders, it doesn't really matter as much being on the road or at home. It's just always going to be a tough game playing these guys. Pete Carroll and crew, the Raiders are going to be a much improved team. Then again, after coming off back-to-back road games, we got back-to-back home games against the Packers and the Jags at a very, very important time of the season. Those are not going to be opponents that you want to laugh at. The Packers are always going to be a tough out. And the Jaguars could be significantly improved with Liam Cohen. They could be a team that, in my opinion, is kind of pushing for a wild card. So that could be a huge game for them as well. I really like the way that one, that those two games kind of set up. And then my least favorite, by far and away, scheduled game of the season. I hate football on Christmas in general, even if it lands on a Sunday or a Thursday or whatever day of the week it lands. I do not like football being on Christmas. I never did. I never watched the NBA when it was on Christmas. I feel like Christmas is one of those days where I want to just enjoy it with the fam. But the Broncos and the NFL have not allowed for that. In fact, not only are we going to be playing the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead, it is going to be Christmas Day at night in primetime. So you already know it's going to be a massively important game. It's going to be a game that you're fired up for, and it's just unfortunate that it has to be on Christmas. I actually hate that. I really do. But what are we going to do, man? They're ruining my Christmas, 7 months before it even starts. But is what it is. I mean, it's going to be a really exciting game. There's no way around that. So we shall see how that one goes. But my early prediction, and I don't think it's necessarily a bold prediction, but my prediction is that game, that Week 17 game at Arrowhead on Christmas Day, is going to be for the AFC West title. That is what I think is going to happen. It's just a thought. And the NFL is going to get exactly what it is that they wanted. And then we wrap up the season with another divisional game against the Chargers. You never know what Week 18 means, right? It could be very important for both teams. It could be very important for one of the two teams, or it could be meaningless for both. So it's been a trend. You end the season playing against a divisional opponent. In this case, we got them back to back. So I dig it. Love the fact that we end the season at home. It's a positive thing there for us. So, man, overall, the schedule is here. We can start prepping. We can start looking and play the whole schedule prediction game. I'll probably do a prediction video in the coming days. Maybe tonight I'll go live with some of the guys in the Discord. We're still maybe trying to figure some of that out, but we'll see. But really, none of that matters, right? I mean, last year I predicted the team went 9-7. It's pretty close. We ended up going 10-6. I can foresee myself predicting 10+ wins for this team based off of the initial look. But like I said, my prediction doesn't matter. We got to go out there and get it. I really do like to look at it as a week-by-week schedule. So for me, we are prepping already in May 14th. We are prepping to play the Tennessee Titans in a game. The Broncos have gotten off. Historically, Sean Payton's actually he tends to get off to a really fast start in the season. At least in his early days in New Orleans. Then he kind of had those stretches where his teams would start slow and get better. That trend has definitely continued here in Denver. We've tended to start really poorly and then get better as the season progresses, which obviously is not a bad thing. You want to get better as the season goes. But this schedule really works out for us to where we can get off to a really solid start. Like starting off 2-0 is not only in the realm of possibility, it's what I think should be the favorite. At least even 3-0. And so I'd like to see this team get off to a hot start and then also continue to get better and better. And I think we could do it. Man. Those are two very winnable games to start the year. So let me know your thoughts, your comments, your analysis down below in the comments, guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Go Broncos as always. And until the next video, y'all take it easy and peace.